Good morning and welcome to the Sunday Morning Sports Podcast. I am BA along here with Jack Hirsch and James J. Martin. Keith Engel is on assignment. That's all I want to say. Let's put it this way. He's on assignment. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there watching. Make sure that if you have your mother out there, to say Happy Mother's Day. All right. So I hope you fellas are doing good this morning because we got the NBA playoffs and the NHL playoffs going here. Let's start from yesterday's game with the Detroit Pistons and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Detroit had 2-1 or 2-0 lead going into Cleveland, and Cleveland managed to eke a game out. Well, they did play really well. They had a 17-point lead at one point of the game, but the Pistons came roaring back and actually took the lead. And this was a game where the stars of both teams kind of shocked you. Where Cade had 3 turnovers that basically led to them losing that game. In a row too. They were in position to really take control of that game, and he threw the ball away 3 times in a row. And Cleveland just took advantage of that. And then Harden came through with the last 3 minutes of the game, just hitting shots. What did you guys see about this game? I thought it was a pretty well-played game.
Yeah, it brought a smile to my face seeing what James Harden did the last 3 possessions within 2 minutes. Finally, he showed up. He wanted the ball. He was acting like he was the man on the team. And it's very hard when you have 2 stars, him, Donovan Mitchell, who's going to take control. And it just seemed like Harden knew or felt or was told his role had to be 1A to Donovan Mitchell's 1. But with the game on the line, Harden took over. And we hadn't seen this from him in the playoffs, I don't think, ever. And we're going to see more of this from James Harden. He was playing with a real confidence. One thing I just want to say, after game 1, when Jared Allen didn't play a good game, he has shown up since then. But I think the Cleveland Cavaliers misused Jared Allen, and I think he's the most misused player in the NBA. Because if you look at his shooting percentage, no one has as high a shooting percentage as Jared Allen. He doesn't take enough shots. What does he go? 7 for 9. Feed him the ball more. His role under the boards isn't used quite the same way. He's played very well, the last 3 games, but I'm just saying it's at last 2 games, excuse me. But Jared Allen they just have to utilize him better. He can score a lot underneath. Feed him the darn ball. But when you have a player like Donovan Mitchell and, of course, James Harden, who's a shooter, you kind of change the style if you're the Cavaliers. But the best formula, use your big men underneath, Allen and Mobley a little more.
Yeah, Mobley played a pretty good, significant role in that game, too. And listen, Mitchell, he is the lead dog in that team.
Yeah.
He had 35 points in that game last night. He was all over the place. He played very well. I was impressed to the point I was cussing him out because I didn't like that he was playing so well. But he had a significant impact in that game too. So let's not count him out.
No, I don't think Jack was doing that. I think Mitchell shows you why he was traded to Cleveland. Clearly they call him Spider for a reason. Those moves that he was putting on players, the cross ups, and same thing. And I think they were motivating one another. I think James Harden, you see him come out and do some cross ups as well, and that works in his favor when he's doing a pick and roll. And this is where Jared Allen and Evan Mobley need to come into play. Those alley-oop dunks and because he dishes the ball, he's gonna find the open person. He's kind of like, reminds me of LeBron James, not the style that he does, but just he's a playmaker. He's gonna give the ball up if it's the right play, and he seems to do that. But like you said, Jack, he hasn't done this most of his career, and it got them a victory in the playoffs.
He hasn't.
Right, exactly. It got them a victory in the playoffs, and I just don't know if this is a one-off or can they be consistent and make this a series. I'm going to lean more towards just being a one-off. I just because of the consistency of being inept or falling behind, just not being good in the playoffs. I just think James Harden, he found one in this one, but I just don't know if he's going to be able to do that consistently against that defense. And then to look at, you mentioned Jared Allen. Did you see that dunk that Duran gave him in his face? He cocked it back. I mean, the dude's a big dude. I just think that he needs to be for Detroit. Duran, he needs to be able to. He needs to utilize his body a lot more. I don't understand what's up with him.
I've been saying this. I know Jack always gets on me about talking about Duran, but this guy is not getting to the rim. He's not. He's refusing to go to the rim.
He has an advantage. He has a Shaq-like advantage in this game, and he needs to be able to use that more.
There was one play where he could have just went in there and dunked. Instead, he went around it and made a bad shot. I'm like, dude, just go in there and dunk, man. The Reed guy that is his replacement plays 100% better than him when he gets in there. And he has no fear. He'll go in there and dunk. He'll shoot from the outside, which makes him more, versatile for that offense. But Duran is like he's scared of trying to dunk. I don't know what's going on with Duran.
I think you're deferring too much to Cade Cunningham. There's an intimidation factor in the Piston offense. Keep out of Cade's way. You see Tobias Harris in the corner getting set up for three-pointers. I think the Piston offense is somewhat predictable. Cade Cunningham's going to either drive to the basket, take it all the way, or pull up, take a shot, or throw it in the corner to someone like Tobias Harris. And
Harris has been the number 2 on their team in the playoffs. He's been the number
21 he scored 21 yesterday.
I don't think Harris is a strong number 2 who could carry a Pistons to a championship.
I don't know. I mean, their defense has really been stifling Cleveland. And so I think that this series is going to go 6. I think it'll go 6. I think Cleveland will win another game, judging. I mean, and they gave their best punch, Jack. Let me just say this. They gave their best punch, and they won by just by a few points. It's very marginal.
Wait. We've seen this happen in a lot of other series. One team seems to dominate for 2 games. It looks like they might win the 3rd game, that the series is going to go all their way. Somehow they let that game get away, and then everything turns. We saw it happen, for example, with the Mavs in Miami that year. I mean, not Mavs in Miami. Yeah, the Miami Heat and the Dallas Mavericks, the Shaq Wade, situation. I mean, we saw it happen with the Phoenix Suns, Milwaukee Bucks. Somehow these series turn around. I know this isn't the championship series. Do not count out the Cleveland Cavaliers. I know in people's minds, this is a one-off. The Pistons are going to win in Cleveland Game 4 and then wrap it up Game 5. Or even if the Cavaliers win Game 4, Piston fans are going to think, no sweat, we win Game 5 at home. There's no way we lose the last 2 games. I know that's the mindset of the Piston fans, but when the Pistons came back and erased that 16-point lead, that was their chance to basically finish the Cavs with a series. But the Cavs, hung on and came back and persevered. And I think the Pistons may have missed a golden opportunity they might eventually look back on and regret.
Or you could look at it like this: the fact that they came back from a 17-point deficit on them on their home court and it made it a game, that worries me about Cleveland. Because the same thing that happened to Orlando when they lost that swivel game right there, which they should have won that game. This I'm telling you, the Pistons are resilient. They will depend on their defense till they drop dead on the court. I'm telling you. And once they get relentless with that defense, it is hard to get shots off. It's hard to do anything. It's hard to do offensive sets because they are all in your face. And if you saw that 17-point being erased, you'll see that in defensive intensity. I mean, they were on top. They were practically on top of these guys when they got the ball. And Mitchell, and all the damage he did in the first half, he was getting limited once they were doing that comeback. I mean, there was times he was just taking off shots, and he basically was the one keeping them in that game to the point, when they started to when it got tied. So I can't see that. I can't see. I mean, I'm not trying to be. I'm a Piston fan, so this is going to sound biased, but I just think that they're going to win Game 4. I just don't. I didn't see anything in Cleveland in that game. They won the game. I give it to Harden. I'm not taking nothing away from Cleveland, but the point is, with Detroit erasing a 17-point deficit, that concerns me about Cleveland, because you should have just put your foot on the neck. You know what I'm saying? And
well, let me say this. I picked Cleveland not in the beginning of this series, but in the beginning of the playoffs, that they will make some noise. I just thought they were that good, and I thought the trade for Harden would be more beneficial to them than a deficit. But looking back at what he's done in the playoffs throughout his whole career, it seems that the same James Harden was coming out. I just thought he would be motivated at his age. Now, mind you, what he did last night, I'm impressed that he can still move the way he does, in spurts. So if that same James Harden can play consistently throughout this series, they have an opportunity. They're going to need that.
James, he played defense, Harden as well. I'm going to tell you this. If Harden can all of a sudden turn it around and do what he did yesterday, I don't mean he has to be sensational, play really, really well, be the James Harden, the Hall of Famer we know for the rest of the playoffs. Look out. That's a big difference. I kind of feel the way James does, that this is a one-off, a tease. I expected it. I even said beforehand, Harden's bound to have one great game in the playoffs and tease us. He's due for one big game, like every dog has his day in a sense. And maybe that was it for Harden. But if Harden could keep doing this going forward, and Donovan Mitchell shows he's the star that a lot of people project him to feel he is, don't count Cleveland out. Cleveland's actually has better personnel than Detroit. If you want to do comparisons one-on-one, they have better personnel. And the one big chip for the Pistons, obviously, is Cade Cunningham. But if Donovan Mitchell's at the top of his game, he's nearly as good as Cade Cunningham.
I think the two differences between those two players is that Cade Cunningham can put a team on his back. Donovan Mitchell needs the assistance of somebody. He needs help. I mean, he's a star, mind you, but Cade Cunningham is more or less on the superstar level. He can put a team on his back. He can put a team on his back. And that's what I've been watching. That's what it seems like.
And like I saw yesterday, I think that was one of the reasons why the Pistons lost that game. You cannot turn the ball over 3 times in a row in the fourth quarter in a close game and expect to win that game. And you're the guy. Yeah, I mean, and they lose games that way too. That's what I'm saying. So I'm not saying that Cade Cunningham is a bad player or nothing like that. That happens, like you said, it happens to the best. You just got to regroup. That's the other thing that I saw in that game. That is, I mean, he's used to having a lot of turnovers. I think he has the most turnovers right now. As he's the turnover leader right now, but he's also got like the best point differential or whatever the case may be. So you take the good with the bad. I think he had bad turnovers the wrong time in the game, and that happens. It happens. So it is what it is, and that's another reason why I think that the Cleveland will lose Game 4. You can sit here and talk and be positive about Harden, but how much consistency has he had in the playoffs doing this?
Oh no. James and myself kind of leaning towards it's a one-off. He was great at the end of the game. Those 3 shots he made with under 2 minutes. Taking charge, being the James Harden we've known about throughout his career. But we've seen this show at the playoffs too much for one game to feel, well, he's turned the corner. We're just saying if he has turned the corner, Harden's human. Maybe this has given him extra confidence. Maybe he's bold. Maybe he goes out Game 4, has a great game, and he has his mojo back. Who knows? But I'm happy what I saw yesterday from him, but I kind of feel the way James does.
We're not optimistic about the trajectory of the way this game went yesterday. If this is going to set them off to be world beaters or win.
Jared Allen has to be used. Jared Allen has to be used better, though. That's the thing about it. He's got to grab some more rebounds. 7 for 9 from the field. The guy's 7 for 9 from the field. Why isn't he getting the ball more? I mean, Jared Allen always has a great shooting percentage. Why isn't he getting the darn ball more on the low post?
I mean, Jared Allen aside, I think the two guys that you really got to watch that I think that are slowly making differences in this series is Tyson and that Schumer or whatever his name is.
Schroeder. Dennis
Schroeder.
Schroeder.
Yeah. That
He's
guy.
always been a little
Those guys.
pesky,
Yeah, those guys are making differences. When Tyson comes in, I notice when Tyson comes into the game, it is very hard to defend him, and he's a very good defender too, as well. And that's something that nobody's talking about. But that guy comes spells off the bench really well. And when he had I think they had a stat when he came into the game, and Mitchell was sitting. I think it was Mitchell and Harden sitting. He came into the game. They had a 7-0 run, and he was responsible for that 7-0 run. So it's going to be. I just don't think that. After watching this game, I don't think Cleveland's going to win Game 4. Now, Game 5, I couldn't tell you. It depends how Game 4 goes. Cleveland could win in Detroit too. Cleveland's not a soft team by any means. They're a really good team offensively. Their defense just is not the greatest, and they're not a really. Detroit focuses on team, so you can have an overall talented roster on the other side of the floor. But if you're not playing as a team like the Pistons do, they play team defense and they play team offense. If you can't play that, then being the other team on the other side, you're not going to win these games. I don't care how much talent you have on that bench. We've all seen this from Piston teams before. So
Cleveland goes as James Harden goes. If he's successful, they will be successful.
I agree with that.
He is the playmaker there.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think it's Donovan Mitchell has to play like a.
No, I agree. I agree.
He's been playing like a star.
But Donovan Mitchell needs James Harden to be what he's supposed to be on his end.
And I've been a little disappointed in the Cavalier coach Kenny Atkinson, who I considered one of the better coaches in the NBA. Somehow, Bickerstadt has been kind of, I don't want to say out coaching him in spots, but Kenny Atkinson hasn't seemed to have certain answers to things.
Yeah, I don't know if that has to do with coaching as much as how the players are playing either. You got to step up. Like we've been talking about Harden this whole series. He's got to step up. He stepped up in Game 2. I mean, he's a veteran player. So I'm not throwing Atkinson under the bus for that whole situation. I think it's just the players got to play because they got the spirit. They just got to play better. That's all. On to the next game. Speaking of teams that are not playing better, they're trying to play. The Lakers and OKC. So now OKC has taken a 3-0 lead over the Lakers. And again, it was almost a carbon copy of what Game 2 was. All the way until the third, near the fourth quarter, the Lakers were holding their own. And it's just like OKC said, you know what? Yeah, it's time to go. They just turn it on and just wipe them out by 23 points. I don't know.
It's just two separate. I know what's going on. OKC is a much better team. That's just it. You can't even get around it. They not just their starting five, but their bench. They have the bench. I mean, Ajay Mitchell he's replaced Jalen Williams, and he's been on a tear. So you mean they have depth, and then of course you got your two of your big three that are there. Chet Holmgren is still playing great, and of course SGA is playing awesome on both ends of the court. And I know they complained about not having enough fouls and OKC flopping. It was flip-flop. Los Angeles had 25 free throws versus 10 to OKC, and they still figured it out. Look, OKC is just a better boxer. They're more powerful, more gifted, and they threw more punches. I mean, it was a good fight up until the third round. The third quarter. I said third round. Yeah, pretty much up until the third round. And next thing you know, the KO came in the fourth. It was just it. They just really gave them too much. They couldn't handle. LeBron James did what he could. Rui Hachimura is great from the three. He's been lighting it up, but the turnovers as well. You mentioned like turnovers with Cleveland, with the Pistons. This is the same thing going on with Los Angeles, but the defense is great for OKC. I expect a sweep. I expect once they play that fourth game, they gotta take.
I expected at the beginning of the series. So
I love the way, James pulls a Mac. After OKC wins game 4, he's going to say, I predicted a sweep. Yeah, it comes in 3-0 like Mac did when the Diamondbacks swept 3-2 against the Phillies. And I said, well, no one picked the Diamondbacks to go to the World Series. And I'm talking about the beginning of the season. And Mac goes, I did. Yeah, you did it when you're one game away. That's what James is doing. But of course, you're his protege.
I went before. I knew that they would beat the Rockets. But I mean, I thought it would be close. But I thought because everybody didn't give them a chance. But I knew at the beginning of the season. At the beginning of the season, I picked OKC to repeat, and we can rewind the tape all the way back at the beginning of the season when I picked OKC to repeat. So let's not go there. God really knew that they were great. Come on.
I had to take a little dig at my buddy Mac in this because he's looking down. That's why. But
give me a thumbs up.
Hypothetically, OKC is so much better team-wise than the Lakers. Imagine this scenario. They started the best of 7 all over again. Forget these 3 games. SGA has to sit out the whole series for OKC, and Luka's back healthy for the Lakers. OKC would still beat them, even in that scenario. I'm going to tell you, we're going to see the off-season watch after the next game because what's going to be with LeBron? What are the Lakers going to do? The Lakers are going to have to make some bold moves. They're not going to run it back with the same cast next season. We know that. Hopefully they don't rationalize. Hopefully they don't rationalize the Lakers thinking, well, we didn't have Luka for the playoffs, so we could run it back. Luka would not have made a difference. They'd still be down 3-0. And if they do get swept in 4, best possible scenario, if Luka was there and he played great, maybe they would have won a game. They're not quite a serious contender. Kudos to the Lakers for having beaten the Rockets. LeBron played a great series, took over, but now you're getting to the elite level. If I'm OKC, I'm hoping that Minnesota. Hey, Linda, I did that. I knew you were listening in on that, and I have fun. I like to invoke Mac and myself. We always have a great time. I always have a great time doing that. But if Minnesota can extend, San Antonio a bit, maybe soften them up for the next series against OKC. It helps OKC. And of course, OKC wants to get it all over with the Lakers. I mean, you lose game 4 in LA. Bottom line is you have to play a game 5. And I think basketball is the one sport that rest means a lot. In baseball, it would be bad if you're not playing a week, 10 games. Basketball, I think the time off means a tremendous amount.
Absolutely, because you're running up and down the court for 48 minutes, or they say 48 minutes, much longer than that. But yeah, it's a big difference. But with that said, I just don't think that the Lakers have enough. And I'm interested in what you're saying in regards to off season. This is probably way too early to predict, but LeBron James is 41 years old and he's still playing pretty good, but there are some deficiencies there. I mean, clearly he can't play a full game of defense like he used to. And so he's more of a one-sided player. And even saying that, that's diminished some too. LeBron James would be better suited going to a really good team and coming off the bench and being like a 6 man of the year player.
Oh, cut it out. Stop putting LeBron out to pasture. He could start on any team and have a major.
Of course he could, but I mean,
you want to make him
not an impact enough to be able to win championships. He's not. That's not where he's at. And let's get that out there. And no one's more of a bigger fan of LeBron James than I am. But I'm also a realist in regards to where you are in your career. And he's one of the greatest players ever to play the game, but he's not there now. And
he's good enough to start on any team with.
Yes, but he wants.
Man, look, Anthony Edwards was coming off the bench for the Wolves, coming back from the injury. It doesn't matter. It matters your minutes. It doesn't matter whether you start the darn game or not. It matters your minutes, the type of impact you're going to have. I'm going to say one thing. No one is more analytical or watching other playoff games than LeBron. You better believe he is studying the Cleveland Cavaliers right now very carefully in his head, looking how he would fit in next year. Okay, I'll be with Harden, Donovan Mitchell. They got, Mobley,
Maybe.
Allen, Strauss. He's analyzing that. He's thinking of that, believe me, because he's not going to come back to the Lakers if they're basically going to be the way they are now. Maybe win a playoff series if one playoff series. He's thinking of potential championship scenarios. That's why he's not going to go to Golden State. I know he likes living in California, but Cleveland / Akron is home from as well.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look at it like this too. Now, this is the question I do want to ask you. How long is Harden under contract for Cleveland?
I think Cleveland has an option. They have kind of an understanding that they're going to be giving him, if not a max deal. I was reading about it, some major deal, some major money for a couple of years. But maybe that's why Harden is really played hard this year. Not that he's dogged it in the past, but there's a little suspicion whether he's gone all out before. But Cleveland kind of has an option on him. But we'll see with the playoffs. If he flops in the next couple of games and they go out timidly, is Cleveland necessarily going to want to pay all that money? There's some hovering doubt over his contract situation.
And that's kind of what I'm trying to point out, because if LeBron goes to Cleveland, I don't know. Well, the fact that Harden is only under contract for the end of this year, and they have an opportunity to extend him after this year, and maybe this happens. They don't make the playoffs, so they get rid of Harden and bring in James, and Harden doesn't come back to Cleveland.
It won't happen, because James will not go to Cleveland if he's thinking of it without Harden, because you're taking away.
I think he has a better team around him if Harden isn't there.
If he isn't there,
they're essentially the same player. When you're a playmaker, LeBron James has the ball in his hands, unless he elects to be the guy in the
point guard. LeBron would be the point guard, run the offense, and Harden could do what he does best.
That wouldn't work for James Harden, though. James Harden is the point. I mean, you got to look at the way he handles the ball and how he does the playmaking. Unless LeBron defers and plays in the post and plays more power forward.
LeBron would sit down with Harden in the off season if he was thinking about it. They would discuss it, and maybe Harden wants to be like a shooting guard / small forward, etc. I mean, maybe he's always wanted to be that to an extent. Maybe he feels he could do that. And maybe him and LeBron would come to an understanding. No, take the pressure off me. I just want to score. I'll set up. We don't know.
Yeah, I just don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't see it working. They've never elected to even join up with teams. I mean, again, to me, they are essentially the same player. I just think.
Yeah, I was. That's why I asked the question, because I mean, will they have enough salary cap to handle LeBron James too, as well as Harden?
LeBron will take less money. He has all this endorsement money. He's filthy rich. He could take
that.
He could take a lot less money, LeBron, because he figures when you're an active player, the endorsements are going to flow in more easily than once he retires. Even though he'll do well at all stages, he does even better. He can make that money up very easily.
I love how we pocket watch looking at people's pockets, saying that you go to the illustrious city of Cleveland and take a discount.
That's his city.
Actually, he's from Akron. He's from Akron, Ohio.
Which isn't too far from Cleveland, but
same thing, basically, be coming home, and that's where he would want to end his career, I would think. We agree with this. I mean, he's got to go either stay with the Lakers or go somewhere. He's not going to retire. We all agree on that. He's probably not going to retire. And
we can agree on that.
Golden State would have been a perfect situation if they were just younger, Curry, Draymond Green, and all of them, but they're long in the tooth. And
You
LeBron
just
knows
brought
it.
up a great
And the
segue
Clippers,
there.
no, and the Clippers aren't a serious option. They're just not that good. For him to go to the Clippers, he may as well stay with the Lakers.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't see that them being a really good option. I mean, I'm thinking from let's think from the brass point of view of the Lakers. Is LeBron our best option for us to contend for championship? This is a storied history. He's brought them a championship in 2020. Obviously, we've seen a decline go further from that point. Not with him, but with AD. But I just don't consider the Lakers. If I look at them the way they're constructed right now, they are not a championship contender at all. They're not, and that includes with having LeBron James on the team.
It's also, basically in closing, it's not only teams, it's where he wants to play. For example, Detroit would be a great place for LeBron to play, but no offense, Brian, he doesn't want to live in Detroit. That's not his city. Okay, LA is his city. Cleveland, is his city / Akron. Maybe New York, because of the market, you never know. LeBron could throw us a thunderbolt, say the Knicks have a heck of a team. I can get them over the top, assuming the Knicks don't get over the top this year.
But who's he replacing there? That's the question. Who's he replacing?
No one. He's a free agent. No one.
Well, then you're telling him he's got to take it. He's got to take a hometown. I mean, a Nick discount because they got a lot of people on that team that they're paying already.
Day one, he signs with the Knicks.
Aren't they in their second April?
Madison Avenue is going to come up with additional $20 million for him. I'm just throwing a number out for the heck of it. Are you kidding me? And endorsements. He could play free of charge basketball money. It's like Michael Jordan. He signed like an 8-year deal with the Bulls, and he was underpaid. And I remember Jordan saying, well, at the time I signed it, it was a good deal. Even though I'm getting underpaid, I plan to honor my contract. Of course, Jordan honored his contract because the outside money he had coming in because he was a player was overwhelming.
True.
Well, but isn't New York aren't they in their second apron too?
But LeBron will get hardly any money. He'll fit in. He'll play for the mid-level exception, $4.5 million if he has to make it work.
4 point. Wow, come on.
No, because of an endorsement. This is a guy who's going to he's close to a billionaire now.
He is a billionaire.
He has all that money. It's because he's a player, high profile.
And he didn't get there by being silly.
And if LeBron came to the Knicks and they won a championship, especially here, ticker tape parade, and LeBron's a star player here, man, oh man. But at his age, could he be a star player? Or could he just be a great complimentary player? That you mentioned.
I think more the latter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Knicks, they have a game today. Game 4 against the 76ers. Are we kind of canceling this game out as, this is going to be it for the Sixers, or does the Sixers have a chance to win this game?
I think they may have a puncher's chance, Jack. I think
that means they have no chance in your view when you talk about puncher's chance. You don't give them any chance. Yeah, I think the Sixers are going to win a game. I think they're too good a team. They're at home. I mean, I have
Paul George had no points. Had no points.
Yeah.
He can't go another game with no points.
We should have a list of players, James Bryan, in the NBA, the long in the tooth list. Guys who are outstanding at one point. They're still good players, but they're not what they were. They're just not. We mentioned Golden State before. Draymond Green is one. Still good. Can still help a team. He's just not the player he was. Paul George might head that list. I mean, once in a while, he's going to show up and be the Paul George of old and play a great game. He's not the same player he was. Has he ever been the same since he had that horrific injury years ago with the Olympics? There's just certain guys who are long in the tooth, but they got the big name. But I gotta feel Joel Embiid is gonna have a big game today, and Joel Embiid's an enigma, guys. What do the Sixers do with this guy? You see him being with you for the next, if you're the Sixers, 5, 6 years. Where's he going to take you? But the guy is so talented, and when he's healthy at his best, he's arguably one of the best players in the NBA. Is one of the best players when he's healthy and well. What do you do with Joel Embiid? Do you trade him? Do you ride him out his whole career in Philadelphia? We've seen enough of him to know he doesn't stay healthy long term.
Joel Embiid is like a Mercedes S-Class AMG Mercedes that has been in a bad car accident. And ever since then, it's always one part of something going on here and there, but it's still a Mercedes. You still get to drive it, and it looks good.
Always in the dealership.
He's always in the dealership.
To get
for sure. But he's still, when he gets on the court, you look at him, like, if you didn't know that he had those problems, you'd be like, man, that's a nice car out there. But next thing you know, what's wrong with this car? It's just he, like you said, he's an enigma, and you don't know what's going to happen next. Like, it's bad luck to have an appendix rupture. I mean, who has that? People do. It's just, you don't expect the superstar to have that situation, but he came back from it. He played. I give him a lot of credit for having guts to get back on the court, for doing a lot of things and being there for his team. He's a big dude. If he didn't have all those problems, we'd be talking about Joel Embiid in a different light. Yeah, for sure. We'd be talking about him.
There's a psychology about being down 3-0 as opposed to 3-1. We've seen a good number of instances where teams that have been down in series in all sports, 3-1, they've come back. It's so rare when you're down 3-0. I think psychologically you shut off. Once you're down 3-0, you're not the same. But the Sixers are at home. Let them grab one game, and then maybe they go game 5 to Madison Square Garden and they win, a game 5. The Knicks have a bad game, then there's some hope. You know who recently passed away, and I'm using this as an example. John Sterling, the great Yankee radio broadcaster. Now, I remember 1976, the Yankees are playing the Cincinnati Reds in the World Series. The Yankees are down 3-0 against the Big Red Machine. To everyone's thinking, this is over. There's no chance of the Yankees winning. And John Sterling is trying to make a case for the Yankees. He says, okay, they're down 3-0. Let's say they win today. Okay, now they're down 3-1. They could win today, that game. He says, now it's game 5. They got their best pitcher going, the Yankees, Catfish Hunter. They win that game down there 3-2. Game 6, they throw all their relief pitchers together, empty their bullpen, eke out a win. Now it's 3-3, and anything could happen in the 7th game. And I remember telling my friend on the way to game 4 with the Yankees down 3-0 what Sterling said. He said, the only problem with that is we're going to lose today. And it's going to be all over. And it happened, and we did lose, and we got swept.
That's hilarious.
To the Sixers, any path, do you not hope? Let's say a player goes down with an injury, crazy things happen. And then all of a sudden, things kind of change a little bit. Like you thought with the Denver Nuggets early in the playoffs when Anthony Edwards went out with the injury. This is the Nuggets' chance. Take advantage of it. And they didn't do it. But it did all of a sudden open up the door.
Yeah. I just think that the Knicks will have too much. And I get it. The 76ers are probably going to come out with guns blazing with their backs against the wall. They're going to have to, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. The way the Knicks have been playing.
I'm agreeing with you on that one. Yeah. I think the Knicks want to take care of this series so they can weigh down whoever's going to win the Cleveland Pistons series so they can get ready for it. I don't think they're going to be messing around in this situation. The other game tonight is San Antonio going to Minnesota again. These have been pretty good battles between these two. I think in this one, Minnesota, they're trying. They got the experience. I think that's the thing that's keeping them in the series is the experience that they have. We got way more experience than San Antonio at this point. But San Antonio's got that young willpower. And the human cheat code, that dude played a fabulous game last game. He played an awesome game. And if he keeps doing that through the series, I don't see Minnesota winning the series. I'd see them making it close, but I know about this game too. It's kind of like the same thing I said about Cleveland and Detroit. I think they win this game too. I think San Antonio wins this game too. So, what's your guys' thoughts on that? You're on the
game. I was going to say the game that Minnesota lost was the one that Wemby went out, right? I mean, the one that Minnesota won is the one that Wemby went out. I think that's the game that he went out.
They won the first. They won the first game of the series.
First game,
right? That's the one Wemby went out. Right.
That's the one he came back. Yeah, that's the one he came back after he was knocked unconscious. Yeah, when he fell. Remember, he had that head injury. Yeah.
Yeah. So wait. What series did Wemby fall and hit his head? It was the first round?
Yeah.
That's irrelevant. This is all relevant at this point.
Okay. With that being said, I just don't think – I think Wemby is just too much for Rudy Gobert, and you have way too much talent around him. I don't see that equal – Go ahead. What are you going to say?
You're missing the whole point, James. This isn't a battle between Wemby and Rudy Gobert. It's not a matchup. What the heck are you talking about?
That's not what I'm saying, my man. What I'm saying is he's a playmaker. He's a playmaker. He dishes the ball out. He shoots the ball. He blocks the ball. As B alluded to, he's a cheat code at his height and what he can do. He can stretch the floor. He can do everything. He's a problem. And then you add all the other players and weapons around him like that. It's just almost, and you almost don't give OKC a chance. Although I think I picked OKC at the beginning, I still think they're going to win. I'm going to stick with that pick. But this team is right there. They're right there, and I just don't think Minnesota has enough. I like Anthony Edwards. I think he's a budding star in the making, but he's still a budding star. He hadn't really jumped over the line. He hadn't made the move to say, I'm going to take over a game and we're going to dominate and we're going to win. Again, the quote unquote next Jordan. I see the talent there, but I don't see the guy that's just going to take over the game yet and just say, I'm going to will this team to win, even though despite the odds that we're going up against a giant when we're like David versus Goliath. And I just think that they won't have enough. I think Goliath's going to win this match here. David doesn't have enough smooth stones or pebbles or whatever rocks to throw at this giant, and I think it's over. I think they're gonna win 3-0. I mean 3-1 here. Or is it 2-1? Will it be 2?
It's 2-1 right now. Yeah,
it's gonna be 3-1.
Gentleman's sweep. Yeah,
I think it's gonna be.
But go ahead, Jack. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, James already wasn't sure whether it was 2-1 or 3-1 San Antonio's favor. He was flip-flopping, thinking, what are they actually up by? Oh, good. Now you might give Minnesota a chance, realizing they're only down 2-1, not 3-1. You were talking about from a 3-1 perspective, but it's 2-1. It might be 3-1 after today. Wemby is the best shot blocker since Wilt Chamberlain, the best NBA shot blocker since Wilt is still Chamberlain. It's like I said, it's not a matchup, him and Rudy Gobert, the two big men in the middle. It's Wemby disrupting the whole Timberwolf offense. Every time they drive to the basket, they got to deal with this monster every single time. And like what Jaden McDaniel said, well, we just got to keep doing our thing. He's not going to block every shot. That's a bad mindset. Well, he's not going to block every shot. Yeah. So, and they've got to deal with it. The Minnesota Timberwolves, I like the Timberwolves a lot. They're one of the few teams that if they get eliminated this series, I tell them, don't make any moves in the offseason. Just keep running it back with the team you have. One of these years, you're going to have a breakthrough with the same squad as long as you could play at the same level. But the only way they're going to have a breakthrough is by circumstance. They're going to need a little luck because this San Antonio Spurs team, I agree with you, James, is only going to get better. Only going to get better. The question with San Antonio, are they 1 year away or not? If they're 1 year away, it looks like OKC could repeat as champions at this moment. But if San Antonio has arrived, if they've arrived, no one's beating them this year when all is said and done. And not only they're going to win this year, they're going to win the year after and the year after that, assuming that they're healthy. They're not going to be a one and done type team. I could see them winning 3 titles in a row. And can you imagine they can build around that team even more going forward and they stay healthy? They might do something that's so darn historic in this modern era. But with that said, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let them win one championship. I don't mean to get with my enthusiasm, but I think if Wemby stays healthy throughout his career, the debate's going to be who the greatest players of all time. And I think his name, it will ultimately come into the conversation, alongside LeBron and Jordan, if he could have a long career and stay healthy. He's that good.
That's an if. That's an if. Because the first part of his career has been injury riddled. So far, he's been, and here you are sounding like LeBron James when he first went to Miami. Not 1, not 2, not 3. You're definitely giving him the credit, and he hadn't even got not 1 yet. So, right. so I just think
that OKC ain't going nowhere.
That you got to look at that. And then we got to wait a minute and pump the brakes as well, because we got to think about, again, the talent around players. San Antonio had the great luck of being able to draft well and trade well right now, but then you still got to pay these players. At some point, that second apron is going to come up, and you're going to have to trade some guys away.
My point is Wemby's so great. Wemby is how old now? He's about,
23 or something like that.
He's 23, yeah.
He's 23. Let's say hypothetically, you could have. You could only have one in San Antonio. You could have a 23-year-old Tim Duncan for the rest of his career, 23-year-old Wemby. Now, I could understand taking Duncan, but if you took Duncan, it would be because of injury concerns. If you knew Wemby was going to be healthy, he's so great. If you're San Antonio, I think you'd even take him ahead of the great Tim Duncan, who makes a top 10 all-time list to some people.
Oh, the blasphemy. Tim Duncan has never been hurt like this before. Let's just say
when Wemby was healthy, if you were guaranteed they'd both.
I can't guarantee that, Jack. I can only guarantee. I'm a man that moves in facts. So I look at what the guy has given me thus far in his short career, and it's been injury riddled. I mean, some serious stuff. And Tim Duncan, what he's giving you, old fundamental is just, man, I don't care if somebody's giving me 11, 12 blocks. I can get other guys to do that too and still win. I think Tim Duncan, without a doubt, I'm taking Tim Duncan for sure.
Yeah. Thank you, Rick. I thought he was 22. Yep.
He's young, man. Wow. Yeah. I'm impressed with him, Jack. Don't get me wrong. I've watched him from the beginning.
But between OKC and San Antonio, the mindset of most people, that's going to be the NBA champion. It's even with the Knicks. All this talk that bothers me about the Knicks is, can they get to the finals? I'm like, you have to talk championship. If the Knicks get to the finals, everyone's going to celebrate as if they won the championship. I mean, they're not going to have a ticker tape parade, but no one in New York is really talking about Knicks winning a championship. They're talking about getting to the finals. And I guess I don't know what the mindset is with the Pistons. Is it championship, just getting to the finals? Who knows? You would know better than I would.
Trust me, Jack, they do not have that mindset. Their mind is solely focused on getting to the finals and winning the finals. That's even though it's not going to happen because they're not going to beat nobody in the West. No Eastern Conference team is going to beat a Western Conference team between San Antonio and OKC in a 7-game series. It's not happening. Too much talent.
Yeah, I just don't see it. I could see them giving a slight run. I mean, whether it be the Pistons or the Knicks, give maybe one or two games. But for a 7-game series like you just mentioned, yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's just how dominant they are right now, both teams, and that's going to be the best. To me, that's going to be the best series of this playoffs. Is a Western Conference Final. That's it. Everybody's looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Maybe they beat up on one another if it's San Antonio, OKC, and which it looks like it's going to be.
Well, depending on who comes out of that, I mean, OKC they have a better depth talent than San Antonio, but there, because they have more of a complete team, and everybody can come off that bench and score. I mean, you're seeing it in every one of these games against the Lakers. They could do that and get beat up and still come out there and demolish the Eastern Conference team that they're playing, because they have that. There's who are you going to stop? You know, it's a mentality that OKC has with everybody coming off the bench. So I just don't. But
listen, San Antonio's still in the series with the Timberwolves. Let's not quite count Minnesota out yet. If Minnesota wins today, it's 2 games apiece. And now it's best 2 out of 3. And Minnesota's capable, if they fall down 3 games to 2, of winning a game 6 in Minnesota, game 7 San Antonio. Because as we said, the Spurs still might be a year away. They just might still be a year away.
They look like they're not, though. They look like they're savvy veterans that have played this game before, and like they've been there before, and they want to win. I mean, Castle, Vassell, Darren Fox, it's just too much, man. Yeah. And even Harrison Barnes, what his limited role off the bench, he's over 40% for 3. It's just their depth is just unreal. Before I know we got short time here, but I know I want to put in a little plug for Steve Kerr. He re-upped with the Warriors with a 2-year contract, and he's still the highest paid coach. So what do you guys think about that in regards to them, and what are they going to do they must have a plan for him to come back another 2 years.
Curry's staying because he said he didn't want to coach that team if Curry wasn't going to be there. And Curry kind of said the same thing about being on Golden State. So,
guys, some players, legendary players, legacy players, you just can't move on from. Golden State can never move on from Steph Curry unless he's in his last legs.
Yeah,
he doesn't mind moving on to another team. If he wants to, then you move on from him. Yeah, Draymond Green is going to be the problem. I think they keep him. He can still play. He's just not the player he was, Draymond. So what exactly do you do? They need an infusion of something, Golden State. I mean, otherwise they're going to just be a play-in team again. Same thing. Jimmy Butler's going to come back. Yeah, I mean, they'll be okay, but they're not going to be a championship threat. Even with Jimmy Butler coming back, something's got to be done there. And I'm not sure exactly what they can do, you know. They need an infusion of youth, you know.
Yep. Without a doubt.
And just to end off on the NBA note, we're going to go into the NHL real quick and just show some scores here. The Colorado Avalanche actually lost the game. They lost to Minnesota Wild 5-1. Kirill Kaprizov scored a goal and an assist and assisted on the next 2. In the process, forced a goalie change by the Avalanche. That's how bad it got for the Avalanche. And they went on to win and get the series to 2-1. I was really surprised. I thought Avalanche were just going to sweep them off the planet. Speaking of teams sweeping people off the planet, even with the valiant effort by the Flyers, Jackson Blade of the Hurricanes scored a game winner 5 minutes into overtime and sent Philly home packing, and they got swept by the Carolina Hurricanes. Shout out to Sonia, that's your team. Good job. They are 8-0 in the postseason. First time a team has done that since the NHL moved to the best-of-7 format in 1987.
I'm surprised Sonia didn't come on to
say something about it. For the Flyers, they created a little bit of a buzz in Philadelphia, so hockey's relevant again in Philadelphia.
Yes, this is a series. Like I was listening to Pags. Pags is a Philadelphia fan, if nobody knows that. He was saying this is a good experience for the Flyers in the playoffs for them to face a team like Carolina and see where they stand. And the Flyers didn't step down in this series. Don't get it twisted. They played a very good series with Carolina, but Carolina's they're just a better team. They're just a better team. Like I said, I was really surprised to see Colorado lose against Minnesota because Colorado's been so dominant. The other two games.
Hold on. I don't want to hear a good series against a team that sweeps me. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying they didn't go out like punks.
It's interesting. We talked about teams that are down 3-0 in series.
Victory.
No. Some teams, the Flyers fought, being down, but some teams that are down 3-0. They pack it in, and some teams really are battling hard. That's why we're talking even with the NBA, the mindset of the Sixers down 3-0 and the Lakers down 3-0, both of them at home. I think the Sixers are going to show more fight than the Lakers. Not that the Lakers are going to quit. I think the Lakers are certain they're going to lose. The Sixers think we're probably going to lose. That's the difference.
Yeah, and then today the Sabres and the Canadiens go at it. They're tied in their series 1-1, and the Golden Knights and the Ducks go at it again also, and that series is 2-1 Golden Knights. So look forward to those games today. Also, on a somber note, Bobby Cox passed away, the great manager for the Atlanta Braves during the time when they were very dominant. He was 84 years old. He lived a pretty good life, man. He was a very good manager for the Atlanta Braves too during that time. I mean, they were just that pitching staff.
The 80s and the 90s was a great time. Atlanta has lost two greats, Ted Turner and Bobby Cox.
In the course of 2-3 weeks. Yep.
Freddie Freeman paid tribute to Bobby Cox during the time Freeman was the 12 years he was with the Atlanta Braves. When he was coming up, the confidence that Bobby Cox showed in him. He was a baseball lifer, Bobby Cox.
Yeah. And on that note, we are clearing the day's schedule for sports. I don't know. I'm not sure if Keith is doing a stream of conscience today. I don't know if he's going to be in that position because I said he's on assignment. Anyway. So if he does come on, check his show out.
Did you say suspension? Or?
I said no. That's what you said.
Keith has been making some bold statements. I thought he may have been suspended by the network for like a few days.
We do not assign on to this, Keith. If you're listening, I don't know what Jack is talking about here.
You get Jack Monday.
I got to do the show tomorrow. We get playbook or what? The Keith will be back Friday when the suspension will be lifted by them.
But again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Enjoy your day, and everybody have a great rest of your Sunday. We will see you next Sunday at 8 a.m. Peace out for everybody here.
See you guys. I'll be running. See ya.